Thank you very much, members of the Fourth Estate. Thank you for responding to our request for this press at very, very short notice and having a very good attendance. It is a very good day for us to lay a number of issues to rest. And that's really the main purpose of this gathering here. I will first of all invite the Secretary General to read out the notice convening the annual general meeting for Gor Mahia Football Club for this year. Mr. Samochola?
Yes.
Yes.
The microphone okay? Good evening.
Afternoon.
Sorry. Good afternoon, everybody. The much awaited AGM is now here, so I'm just going to read the notice. Notice of annual general meeting, AGM. Notice is hereby given of the annual general meeting for Gor Mahia Football Club to be held on 13th of April 2025 from 7 a.m. The venue will be at the basketball arena at Nyayo National Stadium. The agenda of the meeting shall be to read the notice calling for the annual general meeting by the Honorable Secretary, confirmation of the minutes of the last AGM, to receive and adopt the report, the chairman's report, presentation and adoption of the audited financial statements, appoint of audit for the year 2025, to receive, discuss, and if approved, adopt the transition committee's report. After that, we are going to do elections. And then after the elections, we are going to have AOBs. This notice is given pursuant to Article 16, 1B of the Constitution of the Club, 2019. It's issued today at Nairobi, the 17th day of March, 2025. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Secretary General. So that is the notice of the AGM at which the elections will be held. So elections will be an agenda on that day, the 13th day of April 2025 at the basketball arena of the Nyayo National Stadium, effective 7 a.m. I know the emphasis is on the second last item. The concern of many people is the elections, but we think that we need to discuss many matters as outlined by the Secretary General on that day at the Nyayo National Stadium. I will now read the press release, which is a comprehensive document. You don't need to take a lot of time. I've got quite a number of copies that I will be able to distribute for you to be able to see. So just pick up the germane issues, those issues that are completely crucial. So the purpose of this press release, I ought to have introduced my Vice Chairman, Francis Wasuna, Secretary General Sam Ochola, CEO Ray Oruo. The committee member is in some UN meeting. Gerfa Sokuku is in Makueni attending some crucial UN meeting on seeds, maize seeds in Makueni. So he's not able to attend. I also do not see the treasurer of the club. Maybe she's on her way. Now, so the purpose of this press release is to, among other things, inter alia, one, to provide an electoral roadmap for the impending Gor Mahia Football Club elections, including details of the scheduled club elections. Two, to bring to the attention of candidates the requirements of Regulation 20 of the Sports registrar's regulations. And 3, to provide the candidates with eligibility criteria and elections checklist. 4, to announce the election board. And 5, to provide the requirements of those entitled to vote. 5 items. First is to provide the electoral map. The electoral roadmap is as follows. On February 14th, which is now past, notice of reminder to members to continue registering as members via the Bank of Africa account and pay bill number 350-100 until 31st March 2025, as was decreed by the Sports Dispute Tribunal on the 15th day of January, the year of our Lord 2025. The responsibility on this is by the Secretary General, and the remarks are more members to enlist with the club. On 17th day of March, which is today, Constitution of the Electoral Board, which I will read out shortly, which will oversee the entire electoral process. The board will have at least 5 persons, just a moment, yes, 5 persons to undertake the elections. The responsibility is Gor Mahia EC. The purpose is to deliver credible, transparent, and peaceful elections on the 13th day of April 2025. At the same day today, to submit the electoral calendar to the Registrar of Sports, which we have done today. We have submitted the electoral calendar to the Registrar of Sports. It is duly stamped by the Sports Registrar, available for your perusal and scrutiny. The purpose is to onboard the registrar for the review of the election calendar for legal compliance. At the last appearance at the tribunal, Sports Dispute Tribunal, we were asked to assure those concerned that the registration is going on, and also to produce a list of those who have been registered. I am pleased to say that we have in the region of 730 members so far registered through both the bank and the pay bill. And we encourage people, remind them that as at 31st March, we will produce a comprehensive register of those who are entitled to vote. So let nobody be scared about where to register. You can use 350-100 or Bank of Africa. Deadline is 31st March, when we will compile a comprehensive list. But we do have a raw list already that is available, effective last year. So those who were registered last year are eligible to vote, and those who are registered this year are eligible to vote, and those who will register between now and 31st March will be allowed to vote. Again, issuance of the notice to the AGM, we have done it just now, so that the Secretary General has read out the AGM. The purpose is to invite and inform the members of the annual general meeting and the agenda thereof. On 13th April, there will be an election of new executive members, and responsibility is bona fide members of the club. And the idea is to give the new office a fresh mandate to run the club for the next 4 years. So I will be able to give this for you to be able to extract whatever you may need for purposes of informing the general public, and in particular, the Gor Mahia fraternity. The next thing is to bring to the attention of the candidates the requirements of Regulation 20 of the Sports Registrar's Regulation. I have taken it verbatim, word for word, from Regulation 20 of the Sports Registrar's Regulations. It's called Part 6. Elections. An organization, and Gor Mahia is a sports organization, shall hold election in accordance with the rules provided in its constitution. To those who have been asking, is it the constitution of Kenya? Yes, that is a general law. The Grundnorm of this country is the constitution, promulgated in 2010. So it forms part of our law, and we cannot cast it out. Then there is the Sports Act. The Sports Act itself provides that you must have your own constitution. We have our constitution duly filed with the registrar, and it's written Gor Mahia Constitution 2019. Here is the stamp of the registrar, sports registrar, and this is the constitution that we are relying on for purposes of not only running our AGM, but also holding all the elections available for your perusal. Notwithstanding paragraph 1, a sports organization seeking to hold an election shall A, appoint an independent panel consisting of at least 5 members to conduct the election. I will read out those names. B, include observers from at least one umbrella sports organization, the ministry responsible for matters related to sports, and the registrar's office. We have that list. Number C, observe the principle of non-discrimination as provided in their constitution. Our constitution provides only for the limit of age and sanity. We recognize gender, that anybody of any gender can contest for any post in our organization. So we value gender, we recognize gender for that purpose. Then, D, inform the registrar at least 4 weeks prior to the expected date of the elections. We've done that this morning by informing them that we will hold elections and the agenda of that day to comply with the regulations. Conduct the election in an open, free, and fair environment, basketball arena. There'll be no thuggery, there'll be peace. And we will allow people to vote by way of secret ballot. F, and this is important for the candidates, so that they don't look to be an invention of the committee to buy anybody. F, ensure that the nominated candidates obtain clearance from the Directorate of Criminal Investigation, the Kenya Revenue Authority, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, the Credit Reference Bureau, and the Higher Education Loans Board. Loud and clear, any candidate, anybody wishing to contest, you must get these. They are not the invention of Mugabe. These are stipulated in legislation, subsidiary legislation promulgated under the Sports Act. Directorate of Criminal Investigation, Kenya Revenue Authority, Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, Credit Reference Bureau, and HELB. You have to get clearance. These clearances will not be presented to this office. They'll be presented to the election board. Ours ends here, and the election board will now take over from us to make all the other requirements, but these are in the public domain. G, ensure that the office of the chairman or president, secretary, and treasurer are reserved for Kenyan citizens only. So those are the requirements. Then, an observer in an election and returning officer shall, within 7 days of the election, submit a separate report to the registrar on the credibility of the elections. 4, the sports organization shall, within 21 days, notify the registrar of the newly elected office bearers in the form called Form R, set out in the first schedule. 5, the registrar may register a newly elected office bearer if satisfied with the election and the election process. Now, listen to this. The newly elected office bearers shall hold office for a period of 4 years and may be elected for one further term. Digest that. So many questions are asked. They say, oh, the man is 95 years old, too old to see. Okay. A person who is dissatisfied with the results of an election may appeal to the tribunal within 30 days of the election. So these are the rules that will govern the elections that we are going to hold. I think most of the questions are answered there. Yet, I must proceed. Provide the candidates with eligibility criteria and elections checklist. It is attached. Who is a candidate? You will be required to submit a valid Kenyan ID or passport, and you must be at least 18 years old. A duly filled nomination paper. Looking like this, which is also down here to be completed by electoral board. So you give your details, then the electoral board also gives it. We have it here as part of our specimen. Then be a duly registered member of the club. If you are not a member of the club, please don't appear. We are going to issue cards. We are going to issue cards for those who are duly registered. You will show that card at the entrance to be able to participate, so that we avoid hooliganism and hangers-on around there. Transparency, we will have that. Be registered, and we are saying, come and pay 1,200 at Bank of Africa, or 350, 100, before 31st of March. Welcome. Now, then you need to show that you have either been a NEC member, or a committee member, a referee, assistant referee, a coach, a trainer, a technical member, an administrator of football. It is so open. For you become a member, then we also expect you to really show that you are concerned with the club, not just picked up from somewhere for purposes of the election. Then there is going to be a declaration of support from at least 20 registered members. So you'll be supported by 20 members who will not be supporting a person for the same position. In other words, if you come to support Mugabe, then don't go and support another person who is running against Mugabe. All right? Good. So that is good. We will have it. We'll have a form for those people. Then the others I have read a repetition of those clearances. The only two additions is that there will be 2 passport-size colored photographs of the candidate, and then proof of payment of the prescribed fees to the electoral board. There will be a prescribed fee that will be paid to the electoral board. They will announce it. We do not determine it. The electoral board will determine the fees for, if you are standing for chairman, how much do you pay? Vice chairman, how much? Yes, something like about 1 million, 2 million, or something like that. We will not decide on it. It will be decided by the electoral board. You have to pay that fee. It is not discriminatory. It will be a requirement. The time will be specified, but your papers will not be accepted before you pay that fee. I'm sure you saw even in the federation election recently. You don't just appear and say, I'm a candidate, so and so. They were paying a fee. So that is the elections checklist. I'm about to finish, just in case. Then announce the election board. Yeah, don't worry. Okay.
After this, yeah. After that one.
After this one,
That one, yeah.
Good. These are the 5 members of the electoral board. Mr. Gishu Wahome is the chair of the electoral board as a sports administrator. Professor Ben Sihanya, professor of law at the University of Nairobi, is going to be a member. Mr. Henry Ogoe Kowero, formerly acting MD of Kenya Airports Authority, has acted as a chairman of this board before, is going to be one of the members. Professor Omondi Okech, a linguistic expert of the Technical University of Kenya, will be a member, and then being sensitive of gender, Miss Rose Lillian Otili Anyango. That makes 5 people. That is the board, electoral board for Gor Mahia elections of 2025. Now, I have already given requirements of those entitled to vote, and I believe those entitled to vote, and I believe that this one, I think we better hold it for the time being. Okay. Now, election observers are going to be the president of SJAC, Sports Journalists Association of Kenya, a representative from FKF, the Kenya National Sports Council, Administrative Secretary, Ministry of Sports, COC Chairman, a representative from the stewards, Mr. Tom Sewe, and from Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology, Mr. Kennedy Odero. Otieno. Kennedy Odero. So those are going to be the observers, 8 of them. Those 5 are going to be the electoral board. The returning officer is going to be given to us by the IEBC. Thank you. If there are any questions, please pose them. I will be able to give all these. The press release, you're going to give it, but ask me questions, then we give you the press release, and welcome to a cup of tea outside here.
Okay, we'll have not more than 4 questions, so please shoot them directly to the executive members so that we save time. We have the copies here with us, so more of the stories you can extract from the press releases. Therefore, I think...
I want to overrule you. Please give me as many questions as you can. I will be able to say, I think this is enough. More than 4 or any other. Yes, Kevin Tea, is he here?
Start with you.
He specializes on what do you know. So, please talk.
Chairman, my name is Jeff Kizila.
Jeff Kizila. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
My question is, because you said that registration, if I'm not a board farm, I work with my member, or a farm, I want to run for a seat there. What if I register on the last day? I go to election. Will it be accepted?
Yes, the answer is yes. We will begin to compile our register on the first day of April. So you can register anytime before midnight of 31st day of March. So you'll be allowed to vote. Thank you.
And it's also, is there age limits for maybe for chairmanship or the president? Is there age limits for candidates?
You mean date of birth? Are you talking about age limit of what?
In terms of maybe 90
90 years. No, there is no ceiling there.
Yeah, like the Pope.
Yeah, the Pope.
It's open like the Pope.
Yes. So you can actually, even if you are 100, I saw some lady died last week at 106. She is allowed to be chair of Gor Mahia. Yes, sir.
Yes, my name is Akedius from Good Morning Kenya.
Akere.
Akedius.
Yes.
Akedius.
Okay. Very nice names. Yes, for Akedius.
Are you the rest?
Huh?
Are you the rest?
The rest is...
Are you the rest?
Oh, yes. I am, and I'll be submitting my papers. They're all here. That's scary. That is my help. That is my credit reference bureau. That is my DCI. That is my anti-corruption. I'm ready. Help. Help is this one. Okay? This is KRA. This is the DCI. This is Cross Reference Bureau. Somebody keeps writing about a bankrupt. Somebody keeps writing about bankrupt. Yeah. And this is ethics and anti-corruption. So I am in the race, very much in the race, and I know why you are asking that. I have just read Regulation 20, one term and no other term. I've shown you the Kenyan Constitution, the Constitution of the club. 2019, we held the first elections in 2020. We've served the first term of 4 years, and we are all eligible to serve the second term. Besides, I want to refer you to the ruling of the Sports Tribunal dated 15th of January. Good. So the Constitution is that one, and yeah, there's a ruling, a provision here stating clearly that, re-emphasizing the position of the Regulation 20. I'll give it to you before we go for tea. In the actual ruling, which specifies clearly that those who are in office for the first time are eligible to sue the next one. So, if you want to go to court to overrule it, please proceed. Yes, Kevin Teya.
Just for me.
Yes.
As all of us, we are aware of the IBC still under the Constitution. How sure are you that we will get credible? They are not maybe fit for now to conduct elections?
If they are not fit, we will be able to get another institution. But I can assure you that I'm aware that 2 months ago they conducted the elections for the Nairobi club. So it does not need to be the secretary or the commissioners. It is the registry that does a lot of work. So they will be there, and I'm saying you can check with the Nairobi club. They did credible elections for the Nairobi club just under 2 months ago, the IEBC. Next person.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Chair, I'm not Kevin there.
I know you are not.
My name is Boyo.
Boyo, yeah.
You know me.
I know you.
Right. So when are you handing over the rolls for election to the electoral board?
Within 7 days of today.
Okay, nice. You being on the ballot means you have unfinished business with Gor Mahia. You want to lead them once again for another period of 4 years. What do you want to achieve?
Thank you very much for that question. But it is misplaced. You don't have to go because of unfinished business. That is not the criterion for contesting an election. By the way, just over the weekend I was saying that the business of Gor Mahia is football, core football. And that's why we have 21 titles. Who is number 2? With 13. So our business, core business, is football. And if we talk about unfinished business, it will never be finished.
You want to achieve something special.
But
You want to achieve
you see, what the law provides is that you do two terms of that thing, whether you finish the business or not finish the business. So that is the criterion. The question of what we are going to do, we're going to do the usual business that we have been doing. Football. and we are winning particularly. And we are number 3 at the moment.
During the last election, sir, there was a provision for degree holders. Is it still the same?
No, it was removed. Yeah, and that's why you don't see it in there. We don't need to have a degree to be a, you don't even need to know how to read and write. Thank you. You can see we can handle more questions than one. Yes, the man whose head looks like mine. Yes, good afternoon. I know you.
Now, thank you. There are naysayers or there are other fans from Gor Mahia who don't want to see you on the ballot.
Yes.
What do you tell them this afternoon? Then two, if I may just quote your treasurer who has also shown interest for this seat. She said for 16 years, the club has struggled in nearly every aspect: development, sport stability, and financial management. We have had endless cycle of coaches and repeated FIFA cases over contract breaches. You have this opportunity to reply to her.
Very good. The first one is that we have been struggling. I think that is the main thing, that we have been struggling. Say it again, Miguambo. The first one was?
The first one, they are naysayers. And also
Okay, I agree they are naysayers. Okay. Now, the answer to naysayers is this. The model of democracy is to entertain the divergent opinion. So they are entitled to their stand and to their positions. There are those, of course, who add on to it a lot of abuse. I don't react. They will go on and on and on, and I know them myself. No action to be taken. I'm a lawyer. I could take legal action, but I am not going to do anything of the sort. Let the naysayers have their democratic right to call us anything as we sit here. And you know what happened in the elections. The elections, there are people who specialize in mudslinging and saying the dirtiest of things which are even irrelevant to elections. So the naysayers have a right to exercise their democratic right, and we will not interfere with them in any way. In fact, I normally tell most of the people, please, why are you so concerned about responding to issues on social media? I mean, where they're saying the fool, the stupid man, the thief, and all that thing, you know? That goes on. So that is their democratic right. If it will help them to win elections, that is very good. The next thing is about our performance. That is in the public domain. Our performance is the public domain. Starting with our core business, which is football. And I keep saying, we are winning the league. We have almost, our follower is almost going to be half of us. And that is our core business. So if you want to measure the success of the club, I think it's a question of performance. How are you performing as a football club, which is what is the objective of this? And that's why we're registered as a sports act. We are not registered somewhere as an economic unity or that thing, or making any kind of business. We don't need to give somebody any business. Two, you're not hard that we have never paid our players. We pay our players. We have a bus running, new bus running. The players are very, very, very happy. We pay them winning bonuses. We pay our all accommodation. Nobody has sued us for any money at the moment to say that you are not paid all these things. So the financial struggle is part of life, and it's part of our country. Even our country is struggling economically. You can hear dissatisfaction here and there. Mais c'est la vie. That is part of life. And if the incoming office, if it is new or old, we just urge them to please do your best to make sure that such complaints do not have any standing anywhere. So I believe I've answered that. The performance is really, I would objectively look at us and say, is Gor Mahia doing so badly? We are not supposed to make profit. We are a non-profit organization. We are not supposed to make any business. But we have a transition clause in our constitution, and we have formed a transition committee, and we have recently paid a benchmarking visit into Tanzania to be able to study how some of those clubs have transformed themselves from pure just community clubs where people talk, make a lot of noise about accountability when they don't pay entry fee, stadium. They make a lot of noise. I say, we want accountability. You account for what you have not paid. So pay. We have opened registration to membership. How come such a big club, we have not raised 1,000 members to pay 1,200? Come off it. Next one. Yes, sir.
Yes, I've heard from you that you are in the race, of course, for the top sheet. Now, are you going to do it, are you going in the race alone, or you are going together with your assistant, kind assistant who is there with you personally?
I don't know whether he's running, so I only know about myself so far, because we have just declared elections today. We don't know who are the candidates. So I don't know. I don't know whether Sam is running. I don't know. Maybe he is. And pardon?
Is he in the position to answer that?
Who?
Person now.
Why do you want to know that? I mean, you know, the reason has to have just a justification. Allow him, maybe, you know, there are many things that people do in the background. So don't compel him to say anything. All I can tell you is this. We'll announce the deadline. And from the deadline, you will know the candidates and where they stand. But I can assure you that, you know, we normally don't ride on the back of anybody. You come and you campaign. But maligning people will not make you win. Put your agenda.
Chairman,
Yes.
Dollar,
Yes, Dolo, I know you.
I have two questions. One, of course, recently the club funds have come back to the stadium. There used to be a dip in a hand.
The fund issue is dependent, it's actually based on performance. If we are not performing our funds, you know them. They can even raid you. Can raid the office. One day I saw some people demonstrating on this street. They were unable to come in, but they were coming to look at me. Mugabe must go. Right. So when we are not performing, you know our funds. They are very ardent. Some of them are not club members. Because a club member requires to pay to be registered. But fans is a different group of people. Somebody can be both a fan and a member. But somebody can be a member, can be a fan without being a member. That distinction is important to draw. So that is the position. When it goes down, and we are normally very sensitive. We are normally very, very sensitive when we don't see performance. You see us making very quick. We give about 2 months or 3 months, then we make quick change to be able, and that is really in response of we value our funds. Even those who are not members, we value them because they give us, it's called motisha in Kiswahili. Motisha, yes. So that's number one. The second one was about, yes, now we have been having issues. We got a land at Kasarani, which we have paid for, but we've been having issues with the titling. We may actually just abandon it, and at the moment what we are thinking about is just to look for land that can be registered in the name of the club, and we pay for it, because this other one is taking us a bit of time. Hence the accusation that Mugabe has been repeatedly singing that he's going to do the stadium, but he cannot. We've tried our best to get to land office, but it's not easy to perfect a title on that. So we think that in this coming 4 years, the stadium may not be complete. And talking about stadia or sports facilities, you have seen us playing in Uganda. You have seen us playing in Malawi, the government of the Republic of Kenya. City Stadium has been closed for how many years? So it is a challenge, it's a national problem in our country here, that when for us to go and play outside Kenya, you can even see we are struggling with the Talanta. I think we are renovating City Stadium. So we hope that those facilities will be available to us, but we, as a club, have our own responsibility to find land independently and do a stadium, whether exclusively or through the instrumentality of a joint venture. Thank you. Next question, please. Where we develop our young players, and then we also have a good women's team. Queens, Gor Mahia Queens. You've heard about them and seen them. So that we do have is already in progress. But there are challenges in running an academy because there are financial issues. And again, timing of students, because normally you have to draw people, of a certain age. When I was in Germany in 2013, what they have as a system in Germany is that you choose from very early, at age 5, that you're going to go into playing. So there's a complete syllabus, and you are able to run an academy. But when you are mixing CBC and academy, there are some challenges that we don't want to promise if we are not going to be able to undertake them. Yes, sir. Bosio.
Wewe umeridhishwa na uongozi ambao umetoa na uongozi wenzako katika kipindi cha miaka 4 ambayo imepita na kuelekea katika muhula mwingine, kama utafaulu, ni kitu ambacho unaweza kuahidi mashabiki wa soka Kenya, kwa sababu Gor Mahia ni timu kubwa Kenya, ni kama msimu wa mpira wa Kenya. Hebu tueleze chama.
Napenda maelezo hayo kabisa, yananifurahisha. Asante sana kwa kuuliza hayo maswali. Mimi mwenyewe kama mwenyekiti, ijapokuwa tumekuwa na changamoto changamoto nyingi wakati wa uongozi, naweza kusema nimeridhika na yale ambayo sisi wenyewe tumeyatenda kama viongozi. Jinsi nilivyosema hapo awali ni kwamba jukumu yetu kubwa ni kucheza mpira na kunyakua taji. Na nimesema ya kwamba tumenyakua taji 21, wale ambao wanatufuata wamenyakua karibu tuseme 13. Kitu kinadhihirisha ya kwamba tumefaulu na tunaendelea kufaulu. Kwa hivyo mimi nikichaguliwa tena, nitakuwa na ahadi kwanza ya kutimiza jukumu kubwa ya klabu yetu ya Gor Mahia. Tunaambiwa sisi ndio kama viongozi, kuna wengine wengi, shemeji yetu, mashemegi, siku hizi hata wanashabiki kutushinda kidogo. Kwa hivyo sijui kama tunatumia rula, tunatumia kipimo gani kusema kama hawa ndio viongozi au kama ni mashabiki, size ya mashabiki au la. Kwa hivyo jambo muhimu kwanza ni kutumiza jukumu yetu kama klabu ambayo ilibuniwa ishughulikie shughuli ya mpira. La pili, kuna mengine yani mipango mengine ambayo lazima tuwe naye kama ya kando, naweza kusema ni ya kando. Ikiwa tunataka kusafiri lazima tuwe na gari, tuwe na basi, na tuko na basi tayari tumeshanunua. Hatuna changamoto ya kusafiri au kutoka hapa kwenda Kisumu. Lakini tuna changamoto kutoka hapa tukinyakua taji au hii ya Mozartbet au hii ya ligi, itatubidi tuende kucheza nje. Hapo ndiyo sisi huwa tunashuhudia changamoto ya kifedha. Ikiwa pengine mweka hazina yangu anasema changamoto ya kifedha, hatuna budget. Ijapokuwa mdhamini wetu wakati huu ametuhakikishia kwamba watatuchangia kiasi fulani ya hela kutuwezesha tusafiri kwenda kushiriki kwenye mechi ya nje. Jambo hilo la pili. Tulikuwa tumebuni cooperative society, na hapo siwezi kujilaumu mimi mwenyewe au kama sisi viongozi. Tuliwapa mashabiki wetu fursa ya kujiboresha kiuchumi, lakini inaonekana kama imeanguka. Pengine mimi nitajaribu tena kuifanya ifafanuliwe wakati mwingine. Nafikiri nimejaribu kidogo hapo. Ikiwa hujatesheka, mimi unaweza kuniuliza swali tena mahali pengine. Nani mwingine ana swali tafadhali?
Today we are only talking about the AGM, so you will know later after this brief.
Haya, nafikiri maswali yamekwisha. Karibuni kwa chai, na hapa kwa CEO tuna press release na makaratasi mengine ambayo yanaisindikiza. Wacha nikupatie hapa. Hii yote unaweza